Hello, welcome back to our second part of HTML and CSS fundamentals. So now let's go ahead to partition our site. We are going to first create a navigation bar, then create a partition for the banner, create a partition for the theme area, and then a partition for this content here, and lastly the footer. So what we are going to do is to first create a container where all these partitions are going to sit. In this case, we are going to use what we call HTML div tags. In HTML, we've got what we call selectors. These selectors help us to identify any element when it comes to our styling in CSS. So in this case, I'm going to use a class selector. We also have an ID selector and then the element selector. So I'm going to give this a class name and call it container. So it's on our container where we are going to put all the other partitions. First, we have the navigation bar. Give this a class. So I'll just copy this and paste. We have the navigation, we have the banner, we have the theme area, we have the content, we have the footer, we have the content, we have this was the theme area, this is the banner. These class names can be anything, you name them according to what you want. So this can be navbar. So now we've finished creating partitions, so let's go ahead and add some content to these partitions. So as you can see here, in this navigation we've got a list of links. So we are going to use HTML lists. In HTML we have an ordered list and the ordered list. So we are going to use one of the lists to create this navigation or the menu. And then also add a button to this navigation. So to make work easy, in this case we are going to also partition this navigation bar. We have this other part that has got these navigations and then the part where we are going to put the login button. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll call this navbar 1. Navbar 2. So now here I'll put a list. Now this LI is for a list item, but for you to add a list item, it's going to be better if we add our list items into either an ordered or ordered list. So in this case I'll use the ordered list, unordered list. So in the unordered list I'll add our list items. So here we're going to have the home, the about, we're going to have the contact, what else? We are going to have the donation. So for now let's keep it at that. We shall adjust as we go on. So this side I'll go ahead and also add a list. I'll give this a list item. and then I'll add our button. Name this login. So let's save and see how this looks. So we refresh our browser. So this is how it looks by default. Before applying in any CSS, it will just display the content that we've added. So let's go ahead and add other content. For the banner area, we shall add the image later. Let's go to the themes and then also the content and add these partitions here. So we shall come to the banner. We shall deal with the background image as we go to CSS, and then the theme area. It has got 4 partitions. So we are going to go ahead and partition our theme area into 4 partitions. So if you are observant enough, these partitions are the same. And now what we shall do is to come here so let me use an ID selector so that we also see how it works. I'll name this theme area 1. So I'll just copy this. Remember there are 4. So I'll just put a few names. I'll say Paul, say John, say Mary, then Joseph. So when I come here and refresh, we shall have our names. Now let's add our title before these partitions. So I'll put here. You can even add a partition just for our title. I set theme area head. Nice. So in HTML we've got headers. The header tags enable us to emphasize our titles based on their importance. So in this case, I will use header 1. Let's see how it looks. I'll say our team. I save this, come back to our site, boom. So that's how the header 1 looks. So what happens if we use header 2 instead of header 1 or header 3? I want you to just notice the difference. See? So header 3 is quite smaller than header 1. So HTML gives us headers that we use based on the emphasis of the title that we are trying to implement. So I'll change this back to header 1. So the theme area is done. We've applied our HTML and our content for the theme area. So now let's go to the content. So our content is partitioned into 2. So what we are going to also do is to partition it into 2. So I'll come here and say, I've just pasted this. I'll call this content left. Okay. And then also the content right, just for purposes of understanding where to put what and which side each partition falls. So I've named this content left and then this content right. So here we shall add this image and then here we shall type in some content. Alright, so let's go. Just say here we shall apply an image. You can even add it now by using the image tag. HTML provides us with an image tag that we use to add an image. Is img. Alright, we use the img tag or the image tag to add images in HTML. So I'll go ahead and use the image tag. So for this case, I'll just add this to reference where it is. So let me just look for an image that we can use. Okay, just copy this. So I have this image, img.jpg. Let's see whether it is displaying. It has displayed. So I'll go ahead, say, now this is the footer. So for the footer, we are not adding any partition. We just have to add the content. All rights reserved for coding. Right. Okay. So now we've added our footer. Alright. So this is symbol and a copy give us this symbol here. Okay, so now we've added our content for the HTML and the different HTML elements. What is remaining is to apply to CSS to this, which we are going to do in the next part. Thank you so much.